Hello, fellow Raiders. Welcome back to day 12 of the Best Start Guide. Today, we're getting that Void Shard. We're also halfway into the Rathalos, and I've been super duper busy. I've uh, I've got maybe a dilemma here. So I said earlier on we probably wouldn't be ready to run any fusions for the first while, but then the first fusion dropped. I'm looking at this new champion. She's over here. And I really like her. I like her for this account. I like her for my main account, but it may not be possible. However, yesterday I was very busy, and for the first time, we're looking at a energy deficit. We are, or at least we are under the maximum. And as long as we're under the maximum, we are regenerating energy. And this is a very good place to be. This is where I try to keep my main account. There's always stuff to do on my main account, so I'm just about always running Minotaur, which is boring and it's not particularly rewarding. And anytime I don't have masteries to run on my main account, I'm usually running Spider, because Spider is the best silver, and it is also the best for experience as well. So if you don't mind it taking a little longer, there's a solo comp. I use Akoth the Seared, who is a free champion that you get further down the road. He's one that we're going to want to go for anyway once we get into the Doom Tower. But for now, we did surpass level 35. So we're actually into the tag team arena now. I have not set up a defense yet. I haven't done any battling yet. In fact, if I try battling, it'll probably say, you haven't set a defense. Yeah. So we need to set a defense. The defense probably doesn't need to be good. Honestly, the defense could be, War Maiden, Saurus, and somebody else non-threatening. Master Butcher. It'll be these three. Why not? Come to think of it, I want to leave this guy in just in case we make Saurus food. These three are not food. So I'm going to just leave them in. I think this is a good enough defense for now. So I did a lot of farming of area 9-3 on the brutal difficulty and ended up with a ton of faction guardians for the barbarians. As it happens, we just got tons and tons and tons of berserkers. So I've completely filled out the guardian ring with berserkers. We have I have a war maiden to use as a book. So let's do that now. Obscurate skills, war maiden, and this is it. This is the name of the game. We're just going to upgrade war maiden. Hopefully it lands in Crumbling Blast. This is what we want. Are we going to get it? And it landed in Crumbling Blast. Cool. So that gets us one book closer to the actual move we want to book. We really just need 2 more books. We could use books too. Oh yeah, I didn't even cover this. I want to check. I want to show you guys something else. Upgrade rank just so we can find him. But check it out. Kael is fully booked because we actually got to the final challenge page. So here's another legendary tome that we can give to whichever legendary we decide we think earns the books. Probably still going to be Sun Wukong, but it might be Rathalos. It's possible that Rathalos will be more important because we are pushing to the point where we're going to want to build our first really good clan boss team. Right now, of course, we're still at the point where we need to 6-star Kael, but we'll get to that when we can. Hopefully today, if possible. So normally we do the dailies, but I was kind of naughty and I did them all already last night. So we got lots more energy tanks. So anytime we need energy, we have them stashed in various places. I like to keep the energy stashed here until the reset. I often don't even want to check in case it happens to be energy. Hey, it's energy. So, that's what happens. We're now over budget. So let's go ahead and spend this energy that's now burning a hole in our pocket because now we aren't regenerating energy anymore. and I don't like that. So one thing is there's a dragon tournament coming on. This is not really the most efficient for me, but basically stage 11, possible to finish it with a full team. This is not the full team that I use. Normally it would be these guys, but it's not 100% consistent. And I figure if it's not going to be 100, I might as well do one that is 100% consistent. I swear English is my first language. This is 100% consistent, and I can put in 4 food champions at the same time. So we could just activate super raids and go straight in, and we're leveling champions while we look for gear. And it's stage 7 isn't even all that much worse than stage 11. Stage 11, it guarantees you at least a 4 or a 5. Stage 7 is something between a 3 and a 5, and 3s seem to drop pretty often, which is abysmal. We don't want 3s, but we're willing to put up with all the 3s that drop so that maybe we can get some of those juicy 5s, or at least a decent 4. Kael is mostly dressed in 4s anyway, I think, except for the crit damage gauntlets that I gave him that are 6-starred. Thank you, login bonuses. Or I think that was the Rathalos bonus. Come to think of it, that might have actually been from the pass. But here, we got a 4-star boots. Ooh, there's speed, too. That's not bad. I got a 5-star set of speed boots from Dragon as well. Just a nice lucky drop of 5-star speed boots. You love to see that. We are going to get on top of getting 6-star speed boots at some point. Because there is a pretty reliable way to get 6-star speed boots. You just have to do Nightmare Campaign. So once Kael is 6-starred, we'll try to do Nightmare Campaign at the Palace of Arabia. Area 6. But if he can't do it alone, that's when we'll probably give him a companion, maybe Sun Wukong, maybe it'll be Shield Guard. We'll see. So let's check the notes. The dailies are done. So we can skip ahead to number 6. I mean, we do still need to make more 5-stars. I put War Priest on the end there, and I did 5-star her just so that I could qualify for the final challenge, so that we could move to that final sheet that I just showed you guys. And we'll just leave that sheet open, because now fully booking Kael got us a reward, and we're working towards that book. And now we're finally in a deficit again. This is good. I'm just going to run it one more time because I am looking at my notes anyway. So 6-starring Kael, this is something I would really like to do during the leveling event. Last I checked, we were actually in 2nd place, which gets us an extra 5 fragments for the fusion. So the big question is a fusion possible this early in an account? This is day 12. And second point against me, I wasn't careful with my resources. I was just blowing through tons of resources, doing whatever needed to be done to build the account. And now you're seeing me get tempted by a sexy fusion. And I'm trying to make it so that if we fail the fusion, it's not a big deal because we're doing stuff that we were going to be doing anyway. It's just a question of doing it in the right order. But that said, there is a mission. I think this is the current mission. The current mission, is actually get more medals. So we could do that. That's no problem. But then the next one is upgrade an artifact to level 16, and that could be pretty expensive. We've got 5 million silver now, which might not even be enough to clear one artifact enhancement event, but the artifact enhancement event is starting tomorrow. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll start grinding out better gear for the champions. For the fusion warm-up event, I think we completed this one. Let's just double check. But if I am not mistaken, I think we completed it. Come on, game. It don't take too long to load. So yeah, we got 62 out of 60. That sounds complete. So we have the Dungeon Divers event. This is going to be maybe the hardest one. but it's 3,700 points for players that are further along in the game. It's only 2,700 points for us. So this is kind of a small mercy this early in the game. I think this number should be even lower. Really, I think they should have made this maybe, I don't know, we have like 3 full days to do it. And I'm already beyond 900, which is a third of 2,700. So maybe this is a fair expectation as long as you're doing nothing but farming dungeons and campaign. Then we got the summon rush. I'm not sure what the damage is on this yet. So, oh, it's identical to endgame accounts. So this is pretty much off limits. I mean, 2250 is basically 2250 of the mystery shards. We don't have anywhere close to that number. We have 278. We're missing about 2,000. So here's what I'm thinking. We can miss up to 15 fragments and still do the fusion. These are the 15 fragments to skip. And that's the only way about it. But my thinking is probably when I started this series on day 1 and I said we're not going to worry about fusions, we're probably quickly going to go back to that position because it's probably going to be very, very difficult to reach those points. We do have the very bottom thing from Dragon. See, unfortunately, 3-star artifacts from Dragon are worth, I think, 4 points, whereas 4-star items are worth 7. So almost double, and really, it's almost the same energy to just push it up to make sure you get a minimum of a 4-star rather than a 3-star. But let's see, we got 2 more days. We are maybe close to a third of the way there. If I can manage to 6-star Kael at some point, then maybe we can push Dragon. Looks like we're actually in 3rd place in the champion training tournament, but let's see what our progress looks like. Basically, we need to place in the top 2. And I don't want to do anything too crazy to try to place in this tournament because this is usually a whale fest, but this early in the game, it can be okay. So, yeah, it's too bad we're not still there. I could at least pretend for a while I was in 2nd place. I swear. You believe me, right? It was Mini Gavin in 2nd place last night, but not anymore. Although it does look like getting the fragments from this section is going to be no problem at all. I wouldn't mind actually going all the way up to here, because this ore could be really nice. This is another shard, of course. We want shards. We love shards. It's why we play. It's for that dopamine rush that we get when we pull a shard, and we see that... I mean, for an early game account, even seeing purple is going to give us that dopamine rush. Eventually, you need a bigger high, and you need it to be gold. So I actually apologize about this. I haven't checked my my comments since last night. So there was only one about whether or not we should pull, and that one comment was wait. And I happen to agree with that comment. So we'll make that 2 votes for waiting. So what we want to do is we want to work towards 6-starring Kael. We can summon some champions. I mean, we might even get something good for the events. So even if we're not seriously trying to do the fusion, it's still nice to see what might drop out. We might get 50 gems if we summon 150 of our ancient shards, for example. Not ancient. We don't have 150 ancient shards. Wouldn't that be nice? 150 of our mystery shards, the green ones. Because 50 gems will go a long way. That actually gets us pretty close to being able to unlock the mine. And also, another thing, if we really run low on energy, we can dip into the gems to use more energy. It costs 40 to get an energy refill, so we've got 10 of those, potentially 12 of them if we get the extra 50 shards. So we have some advanced quests now because we unlocked the tag team arena. Now we've got advanced quests. Now we can do the beat a tag team arena fight with a higher power team. I didn't read it. I'm just kind of jumping around here. But basically, what we want is we want to find a team that we know we could just trash that team. Uh, there's a lot of tough looking stuff here. Let's just do a refresh. See, this is more like it. We got a bunch of single man defenses. Um, these guys look like they could probably get knocked over by a strong breeze. So we'll bring in Kael against this team because I think he'll basically be able to knock it over. His power's 13k, which is below their four-man team. That's often one way to do it. Beating a team of a higher power, you just look for teams that are lower power, but that you can solo. So let's see. We got Sun Wukong. We got Shield Guard. I am not expecting to win all three of these, but basically we just need to win one. Sometimes when I get the beat a team of a higher quest fight, I'm looking for teams that have a higher power, and I'm singing a Coldplay song. You got a higher power. That's just one of the ways that I make the game fun for myself. You know, what ways do you use to make the game fun for yourself? Because honestly, sometimes, let's face it, it's more than sometimes. We look at this game and we're like, are we really having fun? I can't tell. Anyway, I think we got it. So we got our one victory. We got 6 of these gold bars. 6 of the gold bars. We could get as many as 18 if we take on a you know, a better group for us to be taking on. Let's see. We could put in these two. I don't know who War Maiden's gonna go with. War Maiden's not even geared yet, but who cares? We'll just put her in. We'll put in some other people. We can use full teams now. Let's use full teams. We could even put in this guy to boost Kael's attack. And I don't know, fill the ranks with whoever. Just whoever. We don't have 3 good teams. This is one of the kind of unfair things that the game does to the player. It's just suddenly you go from needing 1 team to just 3. Hydra does the same thing to us. And it's a tall order to have 3 viable arena teams that use 3 sets of different champions. I mean, that Kael just wiped the walls with us. That was kind of sad. So let's see, we're only 18 minutes in. We got loads of time. So we want to do the advanced quests. I'm not going to go as hard on the advanced quests. I want to at least get the gems and the energy from that because that can be useful. If you happen to do all of them, though, you do get a full energy tank. If you're a real go-getter, like I am on my main account, you could do it. Here, I'm going to skip these ones because they're all 60s. We'll try the 50s. Maybe we'll, yeah, this looks like the affinities line up with the main nuker, too. That's another one. You kind of want to make sure the main nuker has the right affinity. So we'll do that. So you want your magic nuker to be going after a spirit defender or a team that has mostly spirit champs in it. I think we still don't have a good chance here. Nope. Not at all. So this is going to give us... I'm just going to run 5 of these to complete another quest. But this is going to give us a strong sense of how many of the little gold bars we can get. Because I had another conundrum, which was the Broadmaw fusion. At this point, I'll even go into it after this, but at this point, the Broadmaw fusion, we have all of the uncommon champions necessary, but we don't have the 2 void rares that we need to get specifically from this area, which are going to cost 3,000 gold bars, which is a lot. I mean, if we are making uh, 18 per fight, assuming we can find fights where we win all 3 fights. We get 18, that's about 180, 360 if we use the refill. In a given week, we might make it. But I don't know if that's realistic, because what we're going to do is we're probably going to end up losing a lot. Like, I'll try this one, and I expect that top team is going to have too much power and defeat our team. The other two might have a chance, particularly the team that Kael is in, because Kael has our best gear. Sun Wukong has our second best gear. I'd love to get really good gear on Shield Guard, but we're not there yet. And, of course, War Maiden doesn't have her gear at all. At this point, War Maiden's actually faster than Gorlos, though, because of the bonuses in the Faction Guardian ring. Because we've got so many barbarians to fill the ring. So sometimes, if you want to get just a little more power, like we could put a little more power in Kael just by specifically farming duplicates of Spirit Host. We could do that. It's not a bad idea, honestly, because we do need a Spirit Host anyway. Just to complete the fusion that's at the end of the track we're currently on. So that's... Do we want to do one more now? Let's just do one more now so I don't have to think about it. So we got 42 gold bars. Let's say we can manage to swing 12 more here, or even just 6 more here. That's 48. So that's 48 in a given day. And the rare champions, you can get 10 fragments at a time. You'd have to get them 10 times for a total of 1,500 points each. So we need 150 tokens, basically, to get 10 fragments. I don't think we can do that every day if we're just running this 5 times and we're winning maybe once, maybe twice. So it could take at least a month. That said, maybe we'll just sacrifice all of the fusion champions for now. They're uncommons, so we're gonna keep pulling them from shards, and a great number of them are also campaign farmable. So I think we're doing fine if we just use them. Because I think the better use of them is to hurry up and 6-star Kael rather than tripping over a whole bunch of extra units. I suppose we probably could have also done this with the extra barbarians that we got. But I did want to power up War Maiden. I want to power up the whole barbarian faction. As I've said in a number of other episodes, I think it's going to end up being our best push in faction wars to get some really, really good glyphs. So if we look at the fusion, it's the fusion at the very bottom. This is the easiest fusion by far, and it's repeatable. So we could keep a duplicate of each of these, but at this point I'm leaning towards just eating them all. I don't think we have the room for it, and it's going to take way too long, because this and this cost 150 in the shop for 10 fragments. So we go to the bazaar. It's specifically the bazaar. So we've got a third of what we need. So we could basically get one every 3 days. So we get 10 of them in 30 days. That's an entire month. Unless we can push further in the arena. And the thing is, we can. We can try to push our way into Bronze 2. But really, I think the only realistic way of doing that is to have 3 really good speed farming teams in the arena. So that's where we're at in that goal. So how are we doing on the missions? So let's just do a couple of arena fights, particularly if we find an easy one. You know, like this. Let's see another single man, single level team. Hey, there's one. So thank you. You know, I clicked it too fast. Winston? I think I saw the name Winston. Thank you, Dr. Wingtim. Dr. Wingtim, you are a saint. Have we done the same? We could. I'm not sure if our defense should be good or bad. I mean, our team is not particularly. It's not particularly good yet, so I don't know. We could have a gimp defense just for slightly easier victories. That might help us at least push through that mission. Really, we just got to win one more fight, though. So we can go to the arena. We can probably find this team. We can probably beat it. Let's put it on auto. Let's see what happens. And what else do we have? We got our clan quests. We need to get more loot. So we're on top of this. We're actually, we completed one of the clan quests. Because again, as I said, shames me to say, I couldn't control myself yesterday. I came back to the game a lot. And I completed the expert level quest. So that's 2 of them complete. If we can find our names. So here we go. Mini Gavin. These 2 quests are complete. Elite is the only one left. I said I wasn't sure if we could do it. Now I think we'll make it. We'll make it. We'll get an extra 350 coins. And that means we can go to the clan shop. And we could even get one now. We could get 2 more accessories after this. Skinwalker ring. Skinwalker ring is good. That's good, people. Did Sun Wukong have a ring yet? No, he didn't. So he's got a ring now. Let's equip it. I'm not even going to roll it up at all, but it's got a main stat of attack. That's good for Sun Wukong. The other stats, I mean, I wish attack percent was in here somewhere, but it's not, sadly. But now, Sun Wukong is going to have a 5% counterattack rate just because of this thing that we got in the clan shop. So this is a really good place to check for these. Check back as often as you can. Finish whatever quests you can. It's good for the entire clan as well, because you want where's the clan level? We're listed at level 9, but if you go to the shop, it then shows you like where you can reach certain things. So imagine we get to level 13, we could start getting void shards and legendary tomes. Although the legendary tomes are really overpriced. So even on my endgame account, I usually don't purchase these, but I will almost always purchase these. 900 coins for a void shard is amazing. 3,000 for a Lego book seems chintzy. It seems steep. So we've got more energy tanks to burn. Let's have a look at the potential for the fusion then. We'll just bear with me. This is the plan for the fusion. Maybe I need to drop a proper fusion plan in the notes, but I think for now, really, we just got to keep our head above water. So Dragon, this is basically all I'm going to be running aside from the main daily quests. The main daily quests, we want to complete that so we get our all our free stuff anyway. But we're trying to get good gear in any event, so we want to at least reach 950. That's the very minimum we want to get. If we place in the top 4, which would be very cool, but seems extremely unlikely given the scores already, it'd be nice to get some more Relentless gear. Relentless gear is great. Why are you not letting me quit out, game? But also, if we look at the Dragon Dungeon for a moment, these are the artifact sets that we can get. Our accuracy is pretty good, although we can already build perception. So maybe perception is better. We've got speed, which is amazing. This is the fastest stuff in the game still. Even now, there are many sets that have been added, and there are combinations that are even better than having just speed. But on the main 6 pieces, you know, the weapon, shield, helmet, gauntlets, chest piece, boots, speed is the fastest that there is for those slots. Lifesteal. We want good lifesteal for Kael, for Shield Guard, and then maybe also War Maiden, if we start building her out. Maybe also Rathalos. I mean, it's going to come down to how good of a healing support role can we get into our team. And we do want to consider clan boss to be the ultimate goal. So our first 5 should be 5 that are going to be good against clan boss. Toxic is awesome. It just adds poisons to your attack. And if you are like Kael and you already have poisons in your attack, you're just adding more poison to your attack. Frost can be kind of fun, but is outpaced by Frost Bite, which we can make in the Forge. Daze kind of sucks. There's not really a good use for it. Stalwart's good at keeping you alive, and Avenging counterattack when you get debuffed can be good in the right circumstances. Avenging used to just be a counterattack when you got hit. I don't really know why they changed it, but they did. So that's where we're at there. We want to farm Dragon and just see what we can get. So at this point, these guys are food. You see this little yin-yang symbol? That means they're part of a fusion. If you're ever worried about keeping track of which champions are going to be in a fusion and which ones aren't, just look for the little yin-yang symbol. And it's on almost everybody, it seems, at this part of the game. Like, War Maiden has the yin-yang symbol because she's part of the first fusion that we have to do, as is the Abolist, Spirit Host, and Eris. Those are the 4. And we're going to need one of each of those 4 to fuse Justicar. I said this yesterday, but I'm saying it again because it's a thing to keep track of. We want to make sure we have enough champions that when we get to that mission, we can just go ahead and do it. But also, there is a champion chase event coming up during the fusion, and you get points for fusing or acquiring a champion any way possible. So that includes fusions. So if we somehow were able to do the entire Broadmaw fusion, that would be a good way to make points. But I think that's really not possible. Maybe if we had completely been planning from day 1 and we had a completely optimized account, and I'd hovered over the account from day 1 instead of just playing for 2 hours and then leaving it on auto for a while and just hoping for the best and spending some days where I hardly did anything. And just generally being wasteful with the gear, with the energy. Excuse me, being generally wasteful with the energy. It's never a complete waste. I mean, particularly these things where we're just pushing for the dungeons just to see what pops out, because there's a lot of RNG. We want good speed gear. We want good lifesteal gear. We might be able to find a use for some Stalwart gear, but I'm not entirely sure. Stalwart this early in the game, because it reduces incoming damage by 30%, which is a lot. You can survive a lot better against a heavy hit. It's specifically AoEs, so it's probably better against bosses than waves. But basically, if you don't have any way of regenerating your health in the first place, it's just a matter of time before you run out of health anyway, which is why lifesteal is probably better this early in the game. Or, depending on the champion, maybe regen is better. So let's do some of these quests then. Demon Lord. Ooh, don't want to forget the Demon Lord. Come to think of it, I can't believe we forgot the Demon Lord. My apologies. Demon Lord's important. Wow, this is... actually, that's not good. You know, it looks good from afar, and then you click on it, and you're like, oh, that isn't as good. But easy... we got the top chest from this, but I think we also got the top chest from normal last time for the first time. So let's quickly do easy. Is this the same team we're running? Yes. Is there anybody else we need? No, not at this point. So we're just going to do an auto, so we can use the key and be regenerating the second key. 2.28 million. That's not bad. That's I think that's more than double what we need at this point. So easy has pretty much been knocked over at this point. Now there's normal. I think my record for normal yesterday was something like 1.8 million, but it was Spirit Affinity, which really helped Kael stay alive a long time. So because we're so early in the day, this run is going to be more typical of what happens. Because we're just running against Void Affinity. It's neutral. I have decided that, at least unless we find a better HP burn champ, we absolutely need to build Gorlos. Because he's got HP burn. We're probably going to want that for the clan boss. He's also got the decreased defense. So he's decreasing the defense of the clan boss, which makes us all do more damage. He's putting HP burn on the clan boss, which is going to help Rathalos do way more damage. So I'm thinking our clan boss team is going to have Kael, Rathalos, and Gorlos at the very least. Maybe we should even add that to the notes. Let's see. I'll just go CB tentative plan. If I can, wow, I can't hit the right things at all. Tentative plan. It's going to be Kael, Rathalos, Gorlos. We're going to need a good healer or somebody that can place Leech. So maybe I'll just put Leech, question mark. But this is a good thing to start thinking about once you can get champions that can do enough damage and keep themselves alive. Even without Leech, Kael's doing pretty good here so far. I mean, he's basically knocking himself back to full. He's still just a level 50. He doesn't even have his War Master procs kicking in yet, and he's still getting all of his health back just from the sheer number of critical hits he's getting. So once we can get War Master on him, it's going to be awesome. And then we're going to rinse repeat. We're going to do the same thing with other champions that are going to help us with Clan Boss. It's really hard to make a 6 in this game, so you really have to be careful with who you do that for first. And I'm thinking Kael, and the second one will probably be Rathalos. I was thinking Sun Wukong or Shield Guard, but at this point, I think with the advent of Rathalos, I think it's going to be Rathalos. Come to think of it, I should even put that here. 6-star. I called him K-Blade. I don't know why I called him K-Blade. It's R. So it's Rathalos Blade Master. I'll just call him RBM. That sounds right. Right? RBM. That's probably going to be our second 6-star. I'm pretty comfortable with this idea just because of how much he can achieve. Sun Wukong really is amazing, though, so maybe it's a tie. I don't know. But it will probably be Rathalos, then Sun Wukong, or Sun Wukong, then Rathalos. Anyway, that's the plan. As for the advanced stuff, the Demon Lord. In order to get this, I think we have to use our keys on easy. I might want to use one key on easy. I don't think we have any extra keys lying around. Nah, we used the last one yesterday. But if we look at the clan boss again, quickly. So for here, we got 2.28 million. From here, we got 1.46, which easily, oh, it's still adept. It's adept and then adept. We talked about this before. Plarium, this is the same thing. They're the same chests. They have the same drops. They're the same. Why are there two of them? You only need one of them. But with one more key in here, we get to close to 3 million. We put in 2 more keys, though. We get the night chest, which I think is what we did yesterday. What I did yesterday. There's no we. I did it without you guys. I'm sorry. But we went for that chest, and we even got a legendary 4-star artifact that kind of sucked. But maybe we'll get a good one next time. Maybe we'll even get a shard next time. I don't know. So I'd like to be able to do all the advanced quests just for the sake of getting that extra energy tank, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. But then there's the crypt keys. This is the last thing. Barbarians shouldn't be a problem, come to think of it, because we have this dude. Do we have anybody with a... we don't have anybody with an aura at all. That's a shame. So we could just bring like War Maiden and like just an army of this guy. Here, we'll make her the leader. So here we go. We're gonna bring in just an army of shield guards and a shield maiden, war maiden. I'm sorry. So she's their mascot. That's why she doesn't need to wear proper armor. She's just in a bikini. She's just kind of like, she's a cheerleader. I'm sorry, War Maiden. Why are you wearing so little in the way of gear? Maybe War Maiden. Here's my theory about War Maiden. She's either got the same backstory as, say, Red Sonja, where the reason that she runs around in a bikini is because she is a concubine that escaped, but while she was escaping, her lover died. So to honor him, she just continues to wear the bikini everywhere. That's canon. That's why Red Sonja does it. Red Sonja does it because she's honoring her dead lover. I mean, that's a worthy cause, right? It's got nothing to do with fan service. I mean, we can't complain too much. I mean, like Shield Guard, you're showing a lot of skin too. Honestly, this is not a safe thing for a warrior to be doing. You shouldn't just have like your chest just kind of out. Like, hey, look at my sexy chest. You don't look very protected. I'm wearing a helmet. I don't know why he has a deeper voice than me. But maybe they are gladiators. This is the second idea. Maybe Shield Guard is a gladiator, and maybe War Maiden is a gladiatrix. Because there is a special word for female gladiators, and it's gladiatrix. I learned this a long time ago. This piece of information is not useful to anyone, but I gave it to you anyway. So we're going to push this as far as we can. Although I might... Yeah, we'll push it as far as we can. But what I might do is, once we hit a wall and we can't advance any further, probably drop back to stage 3. Just because I'd rather have a crap ton of the really, really crappy 1-star glyphs than roll for a chance at a higher one at this point. Because even the higher ones tend to roll only 1-star anyway. So we may as well get as many glyphs as possible, because glyphs are going to be necessary when it comes time to do certain missions. They just need us to have glyphs, and oh no, they're driving down our cooldowns. Damn it, Arbalester. Arbalester's kind of an unfortunate name for this character, but she does have an Arbalest. She is actually one of the champions we're going to need to build if we want to do that Broadmaw fusion. Which we do. We want to do the Broadmaw fusion. I do believe in Broadmaw, just not this early in the account. So we're going to burn through those champions. It's too bad. It feels bad to burn through all the fusion champions. In my endgame account, I burned through a lot of champions that were necessary for the Lady Mikage fusion. And that hurts, because then you're looking at epics that I treated like 4-star chickens just because I didn't have a use for the epic. My Guardian ring was completely full. I figured I wasn't going to need those epics. And then it turned out I did. And I had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get them back. Luckily, Plarium is running a whole bunch of events, you know, just here and there to help players get the epics and legendaries that they need to do the Lady Mikage fusion. Lady Mikage is amazing. It's great that they've given us a chance at 2 mythicals without any RNG attached. There's just a lot of grind. We got the guy from Cintranos. Cintranos is something else, though. Any of you out there further along in the game and dealing with Cintranos? If so, what do you think? Feel free to let me know in the comments, because I didn't mention Cintranos in this episode. I started a Cintranos series, got about 5 episodes in before I decided, you know what, I am not the guy. I'm not the guy for this job. My knowledge is a lot better suited to trying to create an early game account. Late game account, I'm still fighting to improve my late game account. And I suppose technically that's true of everybody because they keep bringing out new champions, and often some of the new champions power creep a lot of the old champions. Remember Taras and Marichka? How can you forget? They're everywhere. If you are an endgame, or you watch any of the endgame channels, like Big Papa, it's fun to watch him trash bozos in the arena. But there's a lot of Taras and a lot of Marichka, and there's a reason for that. They are broken champions. I keep saying I think they need to be nerfed, but you know, I can lighten up on them. I am able to beat them. And that new guy, come to think of it, there's a new Blade Master, the Void. He's up for grabs right now. Like if you are up to the task right now and you have enough Void shards, you could probably chase him because I think it's a... No, it's not right now. Never mind. There's a 15x going on right now, although he might be in it. I might be talking out my ass right now. Anyway, this is cool. We might actually take our first boss. I don't think anybody's done... Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. I think he completely ignores... Why does this keep creaking? I think this boss has the ability to keep ignoring defense. And since our shield guard is built primarily for defense and not HP, that's probably the ceiling. So we got to stage 6. We'll probably just farm out stage 3. We could even do that now. You know, since everything's at max level, I mean, this stage is going to go by very quick. Let's just do this one. So that comes close to maxing out the advanced quests. I don't know if they're worth doing every day. You do get books out of them. You'll get an epic book and a legendary book if you do the advanced quests regularly. So they are good to do. So, Faction Wars, we're pushing barbs. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Now, on our account, in our case, Skinwalker is another really good one because we have Sun Wukong. Specifically just because we have Sun Wukong. Now that we have Rathalos, come to think of it, Bannerlords is also going to become a good one because we're probably going to build out Rathalos, and Rathalos is going to do nutty amounts of damage. Sun Wukong is a really good champion at soloing just because of the way his abilities rotate. So Skinwalkers is good. Bannerlords is good. And of course Dark Elf, because we chose Kael. If you chose Elhain, all the power to you. Because here's one of the advantages to having chosen Elhain. Dark Elves, if you want to fill out the Guardian Ring with duplicate Dark Elves, you have to get them from Area 4. And there are 2 rares that you can pull. And only one of them is a Dark Elf. The other one, I think, is a Skinwalker. Let's even go to campaign to talk about this. So, when filling out the Guardian Ring, getting duplicates to power up your Kael, you want to come after Spirit Host, but you can also end up getting Greybeards. Of course, Greybeard's a good champion, so we could farm this area anyway. And if we get lots of Greybeards, we just fill out the Guardian with the Greybeards. And we could even build him. He's got a nice AoE that has a freeze on it. This book's up to a 40% chance. With the Mastery, it's a 45% chance to freeze on an AoE. He's got Provoke on his A1, which gets up to a 75%. And with the same Mastery, you could get it to 80%. So we could use this guy as a crowd controller, and he'd be really good at it. And right now, we don't have a designated crowd controller. There's really no one on the account that would be as good as this guy. So that's food for thought, particularly with Kael. That's what I maybe want to get on top of doing once we have War Maiden booked out the way we want. We want to go after Spirit Host. We're going to need at least one Spirit Host anyway. And crit rate gear is not bad, honestly. This early on, you want to get your crit rate to 100. You can get nice little bonuses, particularly if the crit rate gear that dropped happened to have a little bit of crit percent on it, then that can give you a big boost. But if you started with Elhain, this is what I was saying earlier. You can come to Palace of Aravia. You got two different high elves. There's nothing but high elves here. So you have Avenger, you have Eris. You want to get Eris anyway. She's great against clan boss. She's great in lots of places. Um, but also you could just fill out the Guardian Ring and make your Elhain more powerful when you complete that. Also, another bonus, you can do 6/6 because 6/6 is where you get the boots. So you could be trying to farm speed boots while farming Eris while just trying to fill out the Guardian Ring. This is probably the strongest case for starting with Elhain. If you have Elhain, your life will just be a lot easier if you're trying to make her more powerful. And she's the strongest nuker anyway. So really, there's a lot to be said for Elhain. Whereas, let's say Galek, with Galek you need orcs. I'm trying to remember where you even get the orcs. Is Sewers of Arnok one of them? No. Is it Tilshire? Yeah, I think it's Tilshire. So you get Gormask. Is Gormask good? I don't know. Not really. Not at all. But that's the only one that can drop, but maybe that's not so bad. So if you have Galek as your starter, you just happen to think Galek was the best, you farm Tilshire, you get extra Gormasks, and you complete it that way. Who's the other? Athel? With Athel, I'd say Voldemar Strait is where you want to go, because here, there's also only one. It's Templar, and this guy's awesome. This guy's worth going after. Also, you're going to need to get Templar for the fusion anyway, so it's worth going through the campaign and just looking at each rare that drops in each area, because you're probably going to need all of them, at least for a fusion. But some of them have really fantastic kits. This guy attacks with the default skill whenever an enemy places a debuff on him, and that can be all the time. Right? So you can get crazy numbers of counterattacks popping out of him. He puts block damage on himself. Now he's invincible. So you can use this guy to really great effect in various bosses. He can probably solo. I know for a fact he can solo Bommel, for example, which is a boss that in the early game isn't relevant, but if you just never find any of the champions people use to beat Bommel, you can always come to campaign and just get yourself Templar. And again, if you started with Athel, Voldemar Strait is great because you can get whatever piece of lifesteal you happen to be missing. If you want 6-star boots, you could wait until you're able to do Nightmare, or if you're happy with 5-star boots, you can just farm Brutal until you get there. We could probably do that now. We're probably strong enough for that now. Although I'd probably want to bring... Yeah, no, Kael would still be pretty good as long as it's mostly Spirit. How are we doing on time? Because I said an hour. We're about 7 minutes out. So it is getting to the point where we should wrap this up. And so we go to the quests. Advanced. We're missing one thing, and it's Demon Lord. And it's more than 4 million. So this is possible at this point. If I can get Kael to 6 stars, this is going to become easy as a daily. And this is again why I recommend starting with Kael and then maxing Kael as quickly as possible and getting the masteries, because between all of those things, you then should have no trouble getting 8 million damage to the Demon Lord over the course of a day. But even if you didn't take Kael, let's say you took Athel. Athel, if I'm talking about these champions, you should even look at them. You know, so let's say you took Athel. Where are you, Athel? Well, well, well. There is Athel. So let's say you started with Athel. I think there's a case to be made for Athel being the strongest choice. She does have the big girl version of Weaken on her A1, and that probably is going to be about the same. It'll translate to about the same increased damage to the clan boss. as Kael's poisons, because weaken just means they take more damage. So the boss takes more damage. Your poisoner could be somebody else. Whereas with Kael, we have to find a weakener, which is probably going to be Rathalos. Let's look at Rathalos quickly, because this is part of the plan. We're going after Rathalos Blade Master, and I believe he's got decreased defense. He does not have weaken. Never mind. So he's got the decreased defense, which is something you could use. So let's say you started with Athel. If you also get Rathalos Blade Master and you have these two in on the fight, and then you have somebody with HP burn, those three pretty much have all the damage covered that you could possibly want. Your last two slots should basically be somebody maybe with Ally Protect. If you get really lucky and you have somebody that can put up block damage, cool. But this early in the game, maybe it's not feasible to have a speed tune that uses block damage. Ally Protect is just really, really good at keeping the party alive. And Leech. Leech is a good thing to have somebody that's got Leech. So for instance, back to the Sacred Order again. And this is another case for Deacon. If you started with Deacon instead of Sun Wukong, he's got the Leech. He's got the decreased defense. He's got speed control. The turn meter manipulation is just going to make the whole party go faster, and he's going to go way faster because he gives himself a free turn, which is really pretty good. And then he can make the whole party faster with the aura as well. So you just get lots of... He's basically like High Katoon. Let's say War Maiden and High Katoon got together and somehow two females made a baby, it'd be this guy. Because of his abilities. And even then, like, which of them has Leech? Nobody. This is why Deacon Armstrong is one of the best epics in the game. But anyway, we don't have Deacon on this account. If you decided to start with Deacon, again, let me know in the comments. This is something I'd actually like to hear from some of you guys, particularly those of you that are also just starting. Which champions did you go for? Who did you start with? Which starter code did you use? Did you go with Sun Wukong? Did you go with Oboro? I mean, Oboro looks awesome. She's in the Shadow Can. I mean, I love her design. The commercial made her look really cool. Of course, the commercial also made Galek look really cool. And Zargala. But to be fair, Zargala is really cool. You happen to pull Zargala, she's amazing. But yeah, who did you start with? What starter code did you use? Who's your best pull so far? And do you think it's a good idea to even attempt this fusion? I'm just not sure. But for now, I'm going to go for it. That's all I got to say to you for now. So thanks for stopping by. See you on the next video. Take care of yourselves.